All right, got my brother Solomon on here. We are live on the Bagland podcast. He gave me some information that was hot on the press. Somebody made a huge mistake disrespecting the descendants of the slaves today, or not today, but this week. They made a huge, possibly career-shattering mistake, and they didn't think it was gonna make a big deal. They thought they were gonna be able to get away talking slick. They've been doing it a while. And surprisingly, it's Fat Joe the Colonizer. Somebody that as kids, we had some reverence and respect by way of Big Pun. And what's interesting about it is, he would never fix his face to say that of any other race. He would never say that to the Jewish people. He wouldn't say that to even other Hispanics. Actually, he has said some crazy things about other Hispanics. So before further ado, I want to play that just so we could get a little background. This damn YouTube is acting janky. I want to play that just so we could get an understanding. Hold on, where was it at? For some reason, I'm not able to find it. I don't know where the hell it went. Let me see if I can find it. I just had it. I don't know what the hell happened to it. We'll come back to it. We'll come back to it. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So there was a conversation, and now this is on Yahoo News. This is getting bigger. Now, it says Fat Joe has ignited a heated debate online following his appearance on Matt Hoffa's My Expert Opinion podcast. During the episode, the rapper delved into the origins of hip-hop, offering sharp criticism of the foundational Black American group, which he mistakenly referred to as Foundational Black Authority. Now, it's not a group, we're a lineage. FBA is the identity embraced by Black individuals who trace their lineage to pre-Civil War America or are direct descendants of enslaved Africans. However, Fat Joe's comments about the group have drawn widespread attention, and polarized reactions. Now, he made a comment saying, I mean, this is everywhere. This is nationwide, might even be worldwide by this point in time. But he made a comment about radical black racists. Now, to my listeners tonight, I want y'all to understand something. When you call a black person racist, that's like one of them conservative white supremacist cop-outs. Oh, it's reverse racism. Black people cannot be racist. There is no place on planet Earth where there might be some colorism, but black people cannot oppress anybody else. You could go from here to the motherland. Black people are not able to oppress white people. It's impossible because you have to have power to back it. If we were able to oppress other people, we would have never got on the damn slave boats. People have to think about that from that perspective. If we were able to oppress other people, we probably would have turned all those slave boats around and threw some white people and made them get on a plantation. That has not happened and probably will never happen, nor do we have interest to do so. So when you use the term black radical racist, if you go back to the early 1960s, who were using those terms? Edgar J. Hoover, the FBI, COINTELPRO. They were using terms like radical black racists. Black people don't speak this way. And this is very interesting for somebody that says, hey, I'm black. Black people don't talk. When have I ever heard you say, bro, man, he's a black radical racist? I'd be like, what the fuck, bro? What? Black radical racist. I've never heard you never heard me say another black person was racist. You might have been like, okay, he crazy, or maybe he's cooning or whatever, but we've never used that vernacular, ever. Even as children, we've never used that vernacular. Black radical racists. When you hear that term, what do you think about that?
Well, I mean, what would you call somebody that's black that doesn't like white people?
You would say they're prejudiced. But you couldn't call them a racist because they're not able to control them. They're not able to oppress them.
What about if a black guy owned a business and he said he won't hire anybody white?
No, that still wouldn't be a racist. You know why? Because we're not able to do that. We're not able to do that with nationwide with spread.
You can't open a business and say I'm not hiring anybody white.
I might be able to do that maybe once or twice, and I will be shut down within a week. They don't let us do stuff like that. All the white dude got to do is go. The white dude could go report it to the Department of Labor, and you and I would be out of business.
You just can't publicize it, but you could just do it.
We're not able to do that. We're not able to do that with spread. Let me, for example, let me tell you something. Check this out. There was a situation the other day. Now this ain't here. This is in Africa. I just saw a video where now you know what's going on with the Chinese over there. Okay, right? Now they going over there running amok. These niggas is running around in Africa like they own the place, telling some of the people that are from there they can't come to this grocery, they can't come to this restaurant. I mean, they damn near making like a modern day Jim Crow over there on those people's own damn land. There was a situation where a Chinese dude or something like that, I think he hurt a kid or he did something in the video, and they rounded some of them up, which is something they should have been doing a long time ago. And they had bats or pipes or something like that, and I was trying to figure out what was going on in the video. That's a prime example of racism. Now, they may not be white, but they're colonizing it the same way. Every time you look up, there's a video online where you have a Chinese company where they're coming in as if they own the place. Now, it might have been some African dictators here and there that might be cutting some slack and kind of letting them do it. But the point is, they're being displaced in their own home. It's supposed to be the other way around. Those folks are supposed to be coming into Africa like, hey, you know what? Let's cut a deal. Let's make some money. And they are probably doing some kind of deal with somebody. Somebody's getting some money. It's probably not the common day African that's being subjected by this bullshit. The point is, those folks are coming in there. I done seen videos of them just beating on Africans, slapping them around, pushing them around, hitting them with sticks. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, man, if they don't run their ass up out of there, they're taking place of the race soldier. The difference is they could say, well, we're Asian, we're not white, but you're a colonizer. You're doing the same thing that the British did. You're doing the same thing that Belgium did in the Congo. You're no different than them. The only difference is they could say, well, hey, you know, this African dictator or this leader of the country, they let us in here. So don't get mad at me. Don't call me racist. That's the only thing they could really say. But when you're telling somebody, hey, look, you can't go into this restaurant. I think it was Nigeria or Ghana. I don't know where it was, but it was somewhere in Africa. And they were telling the local African folk, you can't shop here. So some of the folks got on code and did what I thought was right. They burnt the fucking restaurant down. And I was happy. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, when you jump up and you say, well, you black Americans are radical racists. Now, keep in mind, who put him on? I could play you something right here, and you probably don't remember this, but I just want you to hear this real quick. Every hit that Fat Joe had, we could go down the list. Every single major hit. He never had a platinum hit on his very own. If he didn't have Big Pun on it, which Big Pun was very, very respectable to the Freedmen. Big Pun met Cool G Rap and got on his hands and knees and kissed his ring. I'm gonna play the footage of that in a minute too. Cause he had respect for black Americans. He said, you know, I appreciate you letting me in here, unlike Fat Joe. Now let's look at the hits. Now let's just talk apples to oranges here, or apples to apples. He came out in 92 with a group called Digging in the Crates, which everybody had heavier bars than him. Buck Wild, Big L, you know Big L wasn't no joke. Big L was a beast. Showbiz, AG, Lord Finesse. They came out in 92. Okay? Their album, I remember, it came out in 2000, DITC. That was on Tommy Boy Records. I believe CNN, Capone and Noriega, I believe they were on Tommy Boy for some time. So, Joe came out in the 90s. His first album was in 95. I think that might have went gold, maybe. The Don Cartagena is the one that, you know, was really the one we were bumping and stuff. This came out September 1st, 1998. 100,000 copies this first week. Went gold in October. So you had Mac 10 on there, you had Dame Grease, DJ Premier, Baby Paul, Buck Wild. He had Jadakiss, Crazy Bone, Nas, Lazy Bone, Puff Daddy, Raekwon, Noriega, Charlie Baltimore, Cuban Link, Terror Squad. He had all the Terror Squad people on there. All of these people that made the album what it was were black Americans. Every single last one. Matter of fact, one of my favorite songs, Johnny Blaze, with Nas, Big Pun, Jadakiss, and Raekwon. That was a big hit. Remember Don Cartagena. Young Lord produced that. That was by P. Diddy. Diddy's black American. Everybody that's been on his albums, that he's never had a hit by himself where people were just like, okay, it's just, you know, a great platinum hit. Now, he did executive produce Fat Joe. Joe executive produced Big Pun's Capital Punishment album. Great album. One of my favorite damn albums. And what did Big Pun do? This is what Big Pun did. Let me play the audio for this here. Let me see if I can find this. Here it goes. Here it goes.
I'm not a player, I just crush a lot. One of the lines that made this song so famous is when I go Boricua, Morena, and what Boricua means Puerto Rican and black woman.
Fair use, YouTube.
That's like my love to the music, you know? My love to the, thank you to the black people for accepting Boricua. Thank you to the black people for accepting Boricua. Thank you to the black people for accepting Boricua.
Now let me ask you something. Hopefully I don't get a YouTube strike. Do you think Big Pun would have said some bullshit like what Fat Joe just did this week? Oh, you broke ass black.
What exactly is Fat Joe? Give me clarity on what exactly he said this week. Because today's only Monday.
What his issue was, he's upset because there was a documentary called Microphone Check where all the major pioneers that never get no credit. I'm not talking about KRS-One because that nigga be lying too. He's a legend too. I'm not gonna take nothing away from him. But there was a documentary called Microphone Check where it had the original pioneers in the 70s. And we got to bring this back in context because you got to keep in mind, if you go to the early Puerto Rican DJs from the 70s, I'm talking about the early ones. They came after black folks, but they were around black folks. They respected the craft. They will tell you that Puerto Ricans, they weren't around like that. They came much later. And if you were a Puerto Rican back then listening to black music, they would call you out and be like, why are you playing that nigger music? We don't listen to no James Brown, or we listen to Salsa. Why are you playing that nigger, that Mayate music? Why are you playing that jungle music? That's how they used to talk. Puerto Rican DJs will tell you that. Why are you fucking with these blacks? Why are you fucking with these niggers? So this whole, well, they created a 50-50 thing is impossible. That's what Joe's upset because he tried to pull the Puerto Ricans and blacks created it 50-50. That's not true. It's not true at all. So there was a documentary that came out where they had the people that actually created hip hop, the real pioneers that created hip hop were like, hey, you know, Puerto Puerto Ricans contributed later on. You know what I'm saying? They might have been a few were around here and there. Very, very few were around. But they didn't create it. And the folks kept it real. They said they didn't create it. So people have been talking about this for a minute. And so now what is going on is people are pulling the wolves clothing and saying, okay, for example, like Cuban Link. I'm making a public apology tonight. I used to think Cuban Link was just hating on Fat Joe back in the day. No, he had a legitimate beef. He's like, hey man, I done been in rooms with this dude. He done said a lot of slick stuff about blacks. You sent me the video. Now, this video is old. This was before this whole backlash came out. Joe didn't expect it to be what it is. See, another thing is this 50th year of hip-hop thing. BET had sponsored it. We all know BET's owned by whites, so it's very easy for somebody like Fat Joe to probably just say, well, yeah, you want me to represent it, so they could try to whitewash. This has been a corporate infrastructure whitewash to try to take the gates away from black Americans and say, well, oh, y'all didn't design this. Just like grunge rock by Tina Bell. A lot of people don't know that. Nirvana weren't the ones that created grunge. Kurt Cobain was a roadie for Tina Bell, a black woman from Portland, Oregon. She created grunge rock. Black people created rock and roll, ragtime, blues, country music. These are black American creations. But now you have, for example, like you were telling me about Beyonce the other day. Beyonce did a country record. They're trying to act like she's not a part of it. Well, we don't want them to be involved. We created that shit. My ancestors created that music. But now they're like, okay, well, we don't want black folks to. So what they do is they try to whitewash the same thing with rock and roll. Remember, I could pull up footage of white people saying, hey, rock and roll, that's nigger music. We don't want that bebop nigger music played on the radio. Then once Elvis came, they're like, hey, this is our shit. You see what I'm saying? Chuck Berry, architect of rock and roll. What's the dude? Lil Richard, architect of rock and roll. These are the architects. These are the people that created rock and roll as we know it today. They are the designers and the pioneers and the architects that created rock and roll. They are the ones that did it. But when you get a situation where somebody says, well, I created it 50-50, and we're like, well, no, here's who really created it. Of course you're going to be upset because you can't use that lie anymore. So that's what he was really upset about. So he just said how he felt. I'm mad because you niggas is pointing that shit out. No, we gonna have to start gatekeeping our culture from now on, because you end up with somebody like a Fat Joe, and he's not the only one. He's just a proxy. He's just somebody they probably sent out there, and he ain't had a hit in forever. So he probably like, okay, you know what? I ain't never really liked you niggas anyway. So, you know, what would have been the right thing to do was for him to say, you know what? No matter what money these white folks is offering me, I'll never turn my back on my brothers. I'm a guest in this. I've been around a long time. I respect black folk. I would never do them that way. That would have been the right thing to do. Big Pun didn't do it. What did Big Pun do when he seen Kool G rap? And Big Pun was a gangster. You could pull this up online. Big Pun was a goon. Big Pun seen Kool G rap and got on his knees and kissed the ring. Literally. He kissed Kool G rap's ring. That shows humility and respect. Because basically he's saying, man, you know, because Big Pun will tell you, man, I got my style from him. And Kool G Rap will tell you, like, yeah, he got my style, but he enhanced it. That's a big thing to say to somebody. Kool G Rap ain't have to do that. He could have been like, man, that nigga took my style. He didn't come up with his own style. He didn't say that. He said he enhanced it. Basically, there were certain lines and written rhyme patterns where he took my style and added it on his own and made it better. When you say you enhance something, that means that you made it better. Now check this out. You sent this to me. Let's break this down.
How you feel about Fat Joe?
I like Fat Joe. One of the things I respected
hell just happened to this damn thing. All right, let me try to play it again.
How you feel about Fat Joe?
I like Fat Joe. One of the things I respected about Fat Joe was when he reaffirmed that Latinos are Africans.
Let's speak about Latinos not being black. Latinos are black. In Cuba at one time, there was 8 million Cubans. 5 million, unfortunately, were slaves. 3 million were actual Cubans. And they integrated and had babies.
Now, let's pause this. Now, being that you know that, Joe, how did you come to this? Because it was not Cubans and Jamaicans and nobody. See, these island niggas, they get real big in the head once they start getting a little money. If you know this and you know the history, then why are you talking this 50-50 stuff? Because I can play some stuff about Puerto Ricans in Rikers Island in 1976 saying we don't get along with the blacks inside or outside of prison. Now, what time did hip hop start? The early 70s, right? So how is it that y'all created it? This make sense. You know what this is like? Check this out. This is like me coming to, Eritrea. That's like me coming to, where your folks is from. And I say, well, you know what, Solomon? I've been here the last 20 years. And I believe Black Americans created Eritrean music. I don't know what's the main music there, but y'all have a certain style of music, whatever it's called. I believe, I'm a Black American and I've been here for 20 years. I got a gold record out here in East Africa. I'm doing real good. But I think I think Black Americans created this 50-50. The first thing y'all gonna say is, well, okay, wait a minute. You got this music by way of us giving you the game. We taught you the music. You were around us. You didn't create it. You showed up later. This was created in the early 60s or the early 70s. And you made some money off it and you're living real good. But hold on, nigga. Watch your fucking mouth. That's what y'all gonna say to me in Eritrea. Nigga, you didn't create it. Well, I was there. Yeah, you might have been hanging around some niggas in the studio that created it. But you didn't create it, DP. You started doing the music. Yeah, and you're good at it. You are good at it. You're pretty good at it. But that's like me showing up over there and saying, well, we created it. And then you show pictures of Black Americans and Eritreans in the jails in Africa fighting and not getting along, and I try to tell you that I created it. We created it 50-50. How did I create it 50-50? We didn't even get along, which means I couldn't come to your neighborhoods. You didn't want me in my neighborhood or in my neighbor. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I might have just been that one Negro that just started hanging around a few Eritreans and that's, think of other black folks telling me, hey man, why you hanging around them? They doing that old so-and-so music, that keyboard music. And I'm like, well, man, these my homies. And then they looking at me like, man, why you hanging around them? Then when it got cool and then when it got real popular, then more of us started coming over there hanging around. That's exactly what this was. When you were asking me, what is the situation? That's exactly what this was. And when you have other people, now let's continue. Let's continue because I'm gonna pull up some more facts.
Same thing with Puerto Rico when you go to Loíza, and when you talk about Santeria, that came from the motherland, Africa.
He openly said that Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, and Cubans were African, and they need to start acting like it. Their ancestors came from the continent, just like ours did.
Sometimes Latinos might even identify themselves with African and black culture more than black people.
Now, some people could...
Now, that right there, that's another weird one, Joe. What the hell do you mean by that? Because 9 times out of 10, when you see what's happening right now. When you get somebody that comes from the islands, they're not going to say black first 9 times out of 10. They're going to identify as Jamaican first. You go to Jamaica, you ask them, are they African? Some of them might say, well, yeah, my ancestors, but they're not going to say African. They're going to say Jamaican. They're going to speak on their ethnic group. When they come from the Dominican Republic, they're not going to say African. Matter of fact, they try to stay away from that heavy. A lot of them out there, they don't rock with the Haitians like that. They're too black. See? So this is something that black Americans do. We gonna say black. So when he says, well, Latinos identify with that, I'll tell you another reason how that's bullshit. Go to a place like Brazil, where outside of Africa, that's one of the more heavily populated places on planet Earth. Brazil. A lot of people don't know that. Man, the darker you are, the worse you're treated. The people that look like Fat Joe or look like you're quote unquote European, treat them like shit. So this idea that, well, hold on, let me keep going.
Argue he only said that in order to, keep his validity in the hip hop community. But I believe he was sincere.
All right. Now, this is an older thing from Umar. Now, they've kind of went back and forth over some things because, Umar has been critical of hip hop, basically saying that, basically hip hop rappers should be more giving. Like, we should have some more black hospitals, hip hop, and some of the stuff he's saying is true, So Fat Joe responded basically saying, rappers, it's every man for themselves. Rappers shouldn't have to help the community in so many words. They should just be able to do what they can and just on an individual basis. That's what he was saying. Because he had, Umar had criticized some of the rappers. They criticized some of the rappers. So I want to play something else here too. My YouTube is acting really weird. It's acting very, very strange here. All right, let's see if I can look at the full list. All right, you hear me loud and clear?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay. So this was the response.
Hip hop hasn't done nothing for the community, and now that's where we differ. Now, are we organized to where we have a union? Are we organized to where we have hip hop's children's hospital? No. And this game has always been every man and every woman for themselves. Everybody gives back. Everybody gives back. Everybody does what they can individually. But we're not to be people's parents of their kids.
Every man for themselves. That sounds like colonizer talk, don't it? I remember when Public Enemy was around back in the day. Was it every man for themselves? Chuck D, Flavor Flav, Terminator X, were they talking about every man for themselves? No. Here's another. Now you remember this. Check this out. Here's another. Now, do you remember that Twins that they did the cover? Snoop Dogg had the original album. Fair use, YouTube. I don't know if you remember this. This came out, I believe, in '98. It was called Twins.
I'm bringing the crap out of the guy, you know what I mean, Twins? Yeah. Part of the club,
Now, who was at the very beginning of the video? Who was Snoop Dogg? Foundational Black American. It was Snoop Dogg.
It's like you got a snitch in your camp, you hear me?
Y'all remember this? Now, this was on Big Pun's album. It was called Deep Cover 98. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
All right. Snoop Dogg. Now, think about this. That album, he brought out Big Pun. Now I'm hearing reports. I don't know if it's true, but when you listen to Fat Joe's lyrics on this, I can't play the whole thing because I don't want a copyright strike. But it sounds like Big Pun wrote it. I've been hearing that he wrote a lot of Fat Joe stuff. Now you know that's a cardinal sin in hip hop. You don't let nobody write your own shit. You come up with your own bars. However, that's what people. That's what people.
He's more looked at as
a producer.
Yeah, I mean, you got to judge him in the same lines of like Diddy or Master P, like moguls who try to rap.
Right, but when he was in Digging in the Crates, he couldn't hang with Lord Finesse and Big L. He might have been.
That's why he became a mogul.
So what I'm saying is okay. So outside of a black American, the descendants of the slaves, you can't hold your own weight, Joe. This isn't up for debate. You need one of us to get you some clout, because he was up there talking about clout. Oh, black Americans just need some clout. That he had MOP. Look, this Jealous One's Envy album. This was the album where he had R. Kelly. We Thuggin' with R. Kelly. That was his major hit. What's Love with Ashanti? She's a black American. You remember that 2001, 2002. We Thuggin' and What's Love. He went platinum with this. He can't sell no records on his own. He can't sell no record. He can't sell no records on his own. And you know what? We didn't knock him for that. We accepted it. Black folks accepted it. We weren't really tripping. We're like, okay, that's Joe. We looked at Joe as a gangster. We supported Joe. We respected Joe. And then when he brought out Pun, we're like, okay, Pun's a beast. We really like Big Pun. Big Pun was one of our favorite MCs. When it hurt when Big Pun died, because I wanted to hear more from him. He got Remy Ma.
What did he die from?
He probably was just too big or nothing. I don't think it was no foul stuff. He just probably just kept eating and got too big and maybe had a heart attack or something like that. But
so he was big like that from overeating.
Yeah, he was overeating. Like I remember there was a video where Cuban Link was talking where, you know, he just always be eating, like go to McDonald's 4-5 times, and you know he had money. He was starting to get money, and he had the clout. He was, man, Big Pun was the biggest Latino rapper around that time, outside of Cypress Hill. Dude, you can't name me 15 Latino rappers where you be like, man, they cold as hell. That you put next to Big Pun. You can't name
15.
You can't name 10. You can't name 5.
I don't even think I can name 5.
You can.
Fat Joe, Pun, Cuban Link.
I mean, you had South Park Mexican, but he wasn't like a lyricist. Yeah, he was.
What about Daddy Yankee?
Well, that's reggaeton. That's what I'm saying. Like these. See, this is. You know what it really is too. Think about this, man. And I want my listeners to really, really consider this. That's why I'm dispel this black and brown bullshit. Everybody starts hanging around us if they could see what they could get. Imagine if you hanging around some people that are better than you in every step of the way, and you just kind of looking for a way in, and then these folks is like, man, you know what? You ain't good as us. We ain't tripping. We'll let you in. Come over here with us. That's black American culture in America. It doesn't matter what we're involved in, from the Olympics to football to rap to fucking food to anything. We're the leader of the pack, and we not tripping. Hey, come eat with us. But think about it. If I'm better than you, and I can rap better than you, I can cook better than you, I got James Brown, I got Rosa Parks, I got Ida B. Wells, I got Martin Luther King, I got Malcolm, and then maybe another 10 to 15,000 black folks that have created inventions, broke themselves off of slavery, and are known around the planet. Michael Jackson is known in places where they don't even have telephones. Did you know that? You see what I'm saying?
I know
So you're dealing with a lineage of a people. Their spirit is a little different when it comes to music, revolution, and everything. And we ain't even got to brag on it. But it's just simply the truth. It's not up for debate. And then you're over here just trying to catch up, and we're like, hey, come eat with us. Some folks actually take that as, well, man, they do you ever watch Paid in Full?
Yeah, with Cameron.
Right. Okay. Do you remember when the dude was looking out for him And he's like, yeah, man, you know, just take this work, take this money or whatever. But he had disdain for him. You know how somebody, you look out for somebody, and instead of them being, some people be appreciative, like, man, he looking out. But the fact that they're looking out, they don't really need you.
He's not really looking out. He's not really looking out. He just knows he needs the sales, and he knows you're gonna come back and pay him.
Yeah, but the thing is, he just hit the man's hand. He didn't even tell him to pay him back. He said, man, just eat. He gave him that work, like, man, just eat. I'm not even tripping. He was just giving him the drugs. I want to see you shine. Other people sometimes will be like, man, fuck this nigga. And he's helping you. He don't have to help you. He's just doing it because he just wants to see you on. But you're looking at him like for him to have the ability to help you, you might have some disdain. Some people are like that. They'll be like, just for the fact that we could bring you in. Some people don't like that you have the ability to look out for them and they can't get on themselves. You're looking out for them. So instead of them humbling themselves and be like, man, bro didn't even have to do that. They're like, man, that nigga looking out for me, man. Fuck him. And what happened in Paid in Full? You remember what happened. You see what I'm saying? So instead of, Big Pun said Bariqua Morena. He says, I want to thank black folks for letting me in. I'm a guest. They didn't have to do this for me. They let me in. And they always treated me fairly. You see what I'm saying? And, I brought that work and he brought that work. Big Pun wasn't nothing to be played with. He studied Cool G rap. He was a street nigga, as Fat Joe was. I'm not going to take that away. And Big Pun was probably like, if Big Pun was alive to this day, he probably would have told Joe, oh, no, Joe, we can't do that. These niggas done got us eating good. We millionaires off of this black American music. We can't do these folks like that. Joe's different. Joe feels like shit. I'm going, cause see, here's the thing, Joe. That's what makes it bad. You know that y'all didn't create this 50-50. So now we start to look at you like a colonizer, and then you're doubling down on it. Then when the facts come out, you still talking shit rather than just saying, well, you know what? Yeah, man, it wasn't no 50-50. We didn't really have nothing to do with it. So you want to get a check so bad that you're willing to be the colonizer, and then now we call you out about it, and it's an issue rather than just saying, well, you know what? Y'all right. And the thing is, deep down inside, he knows it, but he wants to check from them white folks. And the thing is, you should have had enough respect for our culture to say, no, I'm not going to do that. But you've been hanging around us the whole time. The whole time. You've been doing this the whole time. So it's kind of like, it's almost like you having a homie or having somebody in your house, and for 20, 30 years, they've been secretly plotting a coup against you. And you're like, well, damn, nigga. Have you always been like this? Have you always thought about this way about me? So that's why the response he got, like they say, Math Hoffa, they say he took it down.
Yeah, he took it down just because of the backlash. And
that guess
he got
what?
Later. People calling him a coon.
He got later.
But I mean, he shouldn't have been called a coon, and he shouldn't have took it down for the simple fact that he's got a platform to let people speak.
He should have
kept it up. When you're an interviewer or a platform host, so to speak, it ain't your job to check people. Let them talk.
Right. So
maybe
now,
later on you could give them your opinion, but let them talk.
But now, Mav,
that wasn't a conversation.
Now, Mav,
he took it down just for the hate you get.
But now, Mav, we're noticing a pattern with these island niggas. They saying he's from the Caribbean. He was laughing and giggling like a little girl. So now black folks is like, what's up with you, Math?
Fat Joe I've heard Fat Joe say, I am black.
And so and that's what I'm saying. So
I've heard him say this.
Right.
With my own ears. I am black.
So being that you say you're black, and being that he said he had all this African history and all this kind of stuff, where do you get off with this? Because somebody that's black ain't go. If you say you black, you not gonna say 50% black, 50% Latino. You either black or you not. Y'all gotta pick a side.
What he means by that is like he said, I grew up around all black people, everybody thought growing up I was just a light-skinned black dude. Ooh.
Nothing
so
wrong with that.
What he's saying is I can A, comment on black culture,
right.
B, or this started from the N-word. Charlemagne said there's people saying you shouldn't be able to use the N-word.
Well,
he said, hey, I grew up with black people.
Yeah, we know you've been using that. But see, the big thing is we know you're lying with this 50-50 thing.
You gave them, you give an inch, certain people take a mile.
Right, and we're shutting it down. I guarantee you, give it another year.
Tomorrow he'll come out tomorrow and he'll clean it up.
No. He's not gonna clean it
up. He'll
up.
probably use the Breakfast Club as a platform to do it.
He's got
to clean it up. He's not gonna stand on this.
Oh yes, he will.
Because it's gonna hurt sales.
Yes, he will. His sales are already done. Name the last time Joe had a hit.
And he's got a new beard dye for your beard. That he came out with new cosmetic product.
See,
so I'm almost certain tomorrow he's gonna put it to you like this: the people who put the money up for them products he's been selling, they're gonna make him apologize. They're gonna tell him clean that shit up, bro.
Guess who his boss is?
Oh, the cleanup will come tomorrow.
Guess it won't be tomorrow. Guess who his boss is, and he better be careful. Carter.
Who's his boss?
Rock Nation. I'm telling you,
Rock Nation gonna tell him to clean that shit up.
I'm now. See, he didn't think.
Rock Nation's actually gonna tell him exactly what to say.
See, this is clean. You know what? This is cleanup time. This is not about.
Once he told me Rock Nation's involved, that'll be cleaned up.
Yeah, this is. See, and here's why Joe ain't gonna be able to clean this up with us. You done already showed your hand, Joe. You're done with us. See, people have this misconception about black folks because. Again, like I told you earlier, our problem in this country, we've been too fucking nice. We done let these immigrant coons get amongst us and we just kind of look past it. Nah, that day's over. Yeah. See, this was just a small smidget of what we could really do. If black Americans really want to, we can start ending folks' careers to the point where you can't even book a show. You seen what happened to Busta Rhymes. That nigga doing fucking commercials at Walmart. Right now,
he's doing commercials.
He can't.
Walmart commercials pay.
It do, but
they pay pretty well.
There's a reason.
I don't think he's falling off.
There's a reason.
You also got to take into account that he can clean it up.
There's a reason why Busta Rhymes had shows trouble.
Busta Rhymes at this point in his career has Walmart national commercials. He's doing all right, DP.
Look,
those are pretty
there's
good.
There's a reason why he went to the NAACP down in New Orleans and he was begging for people to stand up. There's a reason why he wasn't getting shows booked in the Caribbean. Yeah,
shows is one thing. I mean, at his age, I don't even know why he's talking about shows, and you know what I mean. It don't even add up. Unless he's in his 50s. I don't know why he's even discussing shows. But here's the thing: is tomorrow, I predict Fat Joe will call into the Breakfast Club or go on Zoom, maybe even go in
and apologize.
One in New York. It's called Clean It Up.
Where you gonna go?
You said Rock Nation. Rock Nation is Rock Nation, and then he's going. I don't know. Either he'll call in either the Breakfast Club, perhaps Ebro, and them guys. That Hot 97.
Yeah, but
he might call there.
But Ebro,
he might call Andy Martinez.
But
Ebro. What is Matt Hoffman? Is that
Ebro and Charlemagne ain't got no credit with the Black Street no more. He's like Roland Martin. I'm telling you, it's a wrap.
I think the Breakfast Club has a good amount of.
They got a few.
I don't know about Ebro and that, but the Breakfast Club has a good amount of clout.
They got a little clout.
They got a little clout, but they might have some clout. Has something to do with them.
They might have some clout, bro, but they ain't got no respect over here. They don't got no respect on the Black Street. Charlemagne, you got to think. Charlemagne is the type of nigga that he would sit there and let Hillary Clinton talk about hot sauce while he's not touching on little girls. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, his
Joe's
credit.
Gonna come on tomorrow. Rock Nation is gonna assist him in that, and he'll clean that up.
Joe is going to
now
have.
you got Cuban links. Cuban Link's been posting. He got a 5-part YouTube miniseries he posted about how he said Joe been a racist this whole time.
That's what I'm telling you is it's a wrap. You not gonna have.
But who's Cuban Link? I mean, here's the thing: is how much credibility does Cuban Links have?
We believe him. You know why? You know why we believe him? Because we see this 50-50 bullshit. See, here's the mistake Joe made.
Big Pun's wife? Big Pun's wife was interviewed and asked about Fat Joe recently and got up and walked out.
See?
She walked out on the whole interview when Fat Joe's name was brought up.
Yeah, they said something about, he had them living homeless or something. This nigga had a platinum album.
What about Christopher Rivera? Are you familiar with him? Big Pun Jr.?
What did he say?
He wants nothing to do with Fat Joe ever. He said him and his mom lived in a homeless shelter.
All right. So
Fat Joe's claiming that he split everything and gave, split everything. So what Pun's son is saying is, if all that's true, how the fuck was we living in a fucking shelter? So Fat Joe said, I gave her the publishing. Yeah, once he bled it dry.
Right, yeah, nobody's really buying Big Pun records like that.
Well, he bled it dry, man. He put out every Big Pun tribute show, this, that. He did all of it. You know what I mean? He should have, from the beginning, from day one, if you're on the same thing with Puffy, I thought Puffy had did this. And this is one of the reasons why I turned on him. He should have gave the publishing to the family right away. That's it. I'm out of it. Here y'all go.
This is the
Or
issue.
you know
right
what?
here.
This is what I invested. I need this back, and then the rest goes to y'all. Y'all are the family.
Now,
if you're on the up and up, you do that. Fat Joe didn't do that. Fat Joe waited until he bled all of it dry, then gave it back to him, knowing where they gonna get the money to produce it. Who's gonna buy a Big Pun best of anymore? It's already been out there.
Yeah, nobody's really gonna buy it like that, man.
Man, rap fans, now that I've been getting into promotion and promoting shows and doing a lot of research on it, you notice something about rap fans, because they're on to the next thing. Rap fans don't spend too much time harping on, well, it's about your next album, your latest album. And, that nostalgia act in rap isn't as big as in, I know rock and roll. I haven't really dove too much into country music, but rock and roll, I know the nostalgia act is huge. You know what I mean? If you had a hit record in the country music industry, you can go on tour.
That's why. Look, that's the reason why they didn't want Beyonce, and she still sold a bunch of records anyway. But that is a Black American.
Look how they did the little gay boy.
Huh?
What's the gay boy's name? Look how they did him, the gay gentleman.
But he wasn't real country. But see, there's another thing.
Shit, he had the cowboy hat, the rhinestones.
Right, but he's not real. He was a plant. He wasn't really nobody. You got to think this nigga.
So what do you mean? So what's the difference though? It's the same. They did the same energy as they did with him. It was both racist.
Well, initially they didn't want him in, like you said, they didn't want him in because he was black or stuff. And a lot of black people at first supported him until
he
started doing funny stuff with the kids. He came in on some Obama shit.
I didn't know he was doing that.
He came in.
Here's the thing with country. They have a code of conduct. First, you ain't going to be black. You could be black, but you got to be like Hootie and the Blood. You know that dude, Darius Rucker. You got to be like, hunting, fishing kind of black dude, Karl Malone type. They're not, and you can't be gay. Well, another thing, country music, they ain't doing that gay shit. Who's a gay country music singer?
What he did was,
I ain't never seen one.
He came out with a catchy song. And a lot of black people stopped rocking with him because at first we were kind of like, okay, they doing him wrong. They don't want to give him his this, that, and the third. But then once he started doing this old buck breaking stuff, and then he started doing stuff with the kids and these little weird videos, and these funny time jail videos, we're like, okay, he was brought in as a Trojan horse. You got to think, listen to the name, Little Nas. You disrespected Nas. Like, you can't rap at all. Like, where'd you? So they put he got put in there. That you could tell a plant when you see a plant.
How is it Nas able to file some sort of a trademark?
Because he's not saying it's Nas. He's just saying Little Nas X. It's just like I could come out with an album tomorrow and say DP Nas.
That's close enough.
It's close, but it's not copyright trademark infringement. See, we're talking about legalese now.
That's close enough. To me, in my opinion, you know, where I think Nas should have at least looked into it.
Nas didn't want.
I'm sure he tried to.
No, Nas didn't even want to be associated with that. He was like, you know what? Don't even put my name next to this nigga. I don't even want to be asked about this. It's so embarrassing. Don't even ask me.
I've only heard that song.
That's the only song.
Oh, the old country road. But the thing is, it's a country song.
Yeah.
But country music said no, it's not.
They didn't want it because he was black. They didn't want it because he was black,
gay.
But initially,
he had three things against him.
He wasn't saying black, he was gay at first.
He's gay. Yeah, well, they knew. The industry knew. He was black, gay, and he's not of the culture. There's another black dude. I think his name is Kane. He's in the country music industry, right? But here's the thing. He's a country dude. He's of the culture. But guess what? Can you really blame them?
Well, here's the thing.
For having a code of conduct? Well, because guess what? Rap should do that shit.
Well, here's the thing. And that's what we're doing right now. We're enforcing a code of conduct. We're not letting folks colonize and just say whatever they want. Country music.
So why are you knocking country music for doing that?
No.
They're doing exactly what you said.
Let me clarify with you, sir. That's our
Beyonce
shit.
Ain't no country.
Country music is ours. It was taken.
You're going by that. Okay, you're going by that narrative. Okay, but let's go by the premise that you're the only one going by that narrative, because country music isn't controlled by black people.
It's not controlled.
Black people could have easily been the first people to do country music. I ain't saying they're not. I'm not arguing that point with you. I'm arguing. What I'm saying is who controls the industry.
We know who controls it, but now you see why we're trying to protect hip hop. We're trying to stop this colonizer stuff. This is what we're trying to stop. This right here. Look,
country music at all for not allowing people into their industry that are not of their culture.
Well, now that they got it, but you see where this is going. When you start hearing this right here, when I'm getting ready to play you, now you see why we got to gatekeep and we can't have coons and tethers tell us, well, we did a 50-50. This right here.
But I go on there to see, they always hating on me and shit. And they said, they've been like lately talking about Latinos wasn't in rap and this and this. These guys are fucking delusional. We're from the Bronx, New York, shit happens. And so when hip hop started, it's Latino and black, half and half. But they going at me because I'm like the only Spanish dude, like really with a big voice. Fuck that. And
now wait a minute, Joe. You said you were black. See, this is the thing. You can't mix.
He said that in a figure of speech.
See, here's the thing. Yeah, but you said you even made a comment. I'm blacker than most black folks. Whoa, wait a minute, Joe.
Yeah, that's what he said. Even the first comment when he said I'm black and he was giving Charlamagne all the examples, that's what he's saying. I'm blacker than most of y'all, so I can use the N-word.
But black people don't talk like that. Here's the thing.
That's the exact. Your viewers will go on YouTube and look at that clip.
Black Americans don't speak like that. Black Americans don't. We don't talk like that. We don't say. We're not gonna say, hey, oh well, this is 50-50. Are you black or are you Latino? Because here's the thing, the black experience, we don't talk like that. That's colonizer talk. When you say 50-50, and then I could play you a video in 1976 with Puerto Ricans in Rikers Island saying we don't get along with blacks inside or out. That means y'all wasn't around us. So if it was 50-50, that means, see, that's my point that I was given that mathematical equation earlier about Eritrea. If it was 50-50, that means I've been around you the whole time. If it's just one person, DP, you're in Eritrea. Well, you helped create it. Well, DP, you're just one person. How is that 50-50? 50-50 is like, yeah, we were all living together. We all created it. We sat down there. We created the parties. We created the beats. We created the sheet music. That's 50-50. But if it was one of y'all and it was a whole bunch of niggas, that means you were a guest. And that's what Joe is. He's a guest. And we've let it go too far. And that's where the gatekeepers come in, and they didn't expect that backlash. And I'm going to tell you something else. He's just the first one. We going to start cleaning house. We going to really start cleaning house with these folks. People think that, well, this is just a one-off ordeal. Nah, we just going to get started. Because if folks want to start really talking greasy and really want to challenge the Black American gatekeeping, we could make it real bad for folks. You seen what happened with Floyd. We could start doing this shit everywhere. We could start, okay, let me check your paperwork. Oh, I'm not a guest. I have a right to be here. I'm going to tell you black folks how it goes. Oh, no. Hold on, nigga. Where'd you come from? Because you talking real crazy. Because see, if I would have went over to Puerto Rico and said, yeah, I created reggaeton, which reggae comes from Jamaica. Let's talk about Jamaica. I show up in Jamaica because I made a Jamaican hit. I'm a Black American, but I ain't never fucking been to Jamaica. Then I show up in Jamaica and say, hey, I run Jamaica. I got a Jamaican hit. I'm platinum. It's 50-50. They might leave me in a body bag. Nigga, what the fuck? They're gonna be like, hold on, what about Bob Marley? Man, fuck Bob Marley. I'm the new Marley, nigga. That's how he sounds. They gonna look at me crazy in Jamaica. Like, what? Who the fuck you think you is, nigga? We don't even know this nigga. Who is he? Well, I've been coming around Jamaica, and my dad used to, take my mother to Jamaica, once a year since the 80s. Okay, that don't mean you 50-50. That don't mean you created it. And so, we're just doing some house cleaning. They didn't expect that a lot of
Rock Nation ain't gonna allow that. Rock Nation is gonna.
Well, you said Rock Nation. Let me. And here's one thing that I want to say to my listeners about celebrity niggas. Y'all's days is over. You think P. Diddy was the beginning, and I'm not saying I want to see P. Diddy under the jail, but the thing is, just because, see, it was people like me or you that was buying no records. We're the ones that made Jay-Z. We're the ones that made Fat Joe. If the fans, and people say, well, the fans ain't got nothing to say. They shouldn't have no say so. The fans made you niggas millionaires. We could shut you down too. We could just stop supporting you. That you see what happened to P. Diddy. It's not the, we speak against the prosecution of P. Diddy because our thing is no selective justice. These white folks is doing 10 times worse than Diddy. So I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna throw him completely under the bus. Do that no more. So what I'm saying is, we didn't want to throw him completely under the bus only because of one reason. Because white folks do the same thing 10 times worse and they got fucking house arrest. So we're like, okay, nigga, put him in a Rolls Royce.
Well, I think when all this comes out, you're gonna see pretty man's doing a lot. So
when you were like, hey, let's march to the Capitol for Diddy, I'm like, nah, bro, hold on. Just wait until you see.
Yeah, I don't want to do that anymore.
Right.
I found out a lot of things that he didn't give the mother Notorious Big or the kids any of the publishing until it was too late.
Okay,
that's terrible, man.
Now think about this.
I didn't know that. Biggie's mom didn't have a whole lot of good things to say. So now, and that might be one spectrum of thing. It could be 1,000 things that nigga could have did. But here's the thing. You said Rock Nation could clean it up. What is Rock Nation? Oh, well, that's Sean Carter and company or whatever. That nigga already got a lawsuit that he's trying to fight. My point is, as powerful as P. Diddy is, clean that up.
You saying they gonna clean it up? Okay, yeah, they could clean it up. But
I guarantee it, they're gonna clean it up or they're gonna drop.
They could clean it. They could try to clean it up. It's not gonna work. And I'm gonna tell you something else.
They're gonna try. And they're going to do a pretty good job of it.
They're going to try, but the thing is, you could clean it up for the white folks. You could clean it up for Charlemagne. You could clean it up for the bootlick niggas. You can't clean it up for the foundational blacks that made you where you are. we can shut you down tomorrow. You know how I know? What happened with P. Diddy? We didn't say a word, did we? No, we didn't throw him under the bus. But did black Americans come out for P. Diddy like they did George Floyd? The answer is no.
How much percentage of Fat Joe's paying fan base, how much percentage of them are foundational?
The fan base he probably has right now.
I said that spend money.
That spend money? He ain't really got
Fat
no.
Joe,
He don't really got no fans right
Joe
now, bro.
TV,
He hasn't had a hit in 15 years.
Like in the heart of Fat Joe's career, how much percentage of his money you think came from foundation?
Even if it didn't come from us, the culture came from us, so we get to say so. We get to say so on whether you win or lose.
Can you cancel somebody who you're not spending on?
Yeah. Prime example, Sean Combs. Did we come out and support Sean Combs like we supported Kyrie? Yes or no?
Would it have mattered?
Yes.
Did Kyrie get arrested? You telling me if the Feds would have gave a fuck about somebody defending Diddy, they would have said, "Oh, well, we ain't gonna."
When black Americans get behind something, we shut it down. This is a proven fact. This is up for debate. If we say something, if we start coming out in the streets or we start protesting or whatever the case may be, it's over. That's American history. When we get involved, shit goes left.
What celebrity did black people protest for? And he got charges dropped.
We haven't. The last time there was a protest was OJ.